Hey Black Hat, how's it going? Hope everyone is enjoying their time and checking out some booths and obviously enjoying the SaltStack booth. Got Thomas Hatch here again. He's going to talk to us about some interesting things. I hope you guys are enjoying the event and engaging with our staff in the booth and having some swag, of course. So, Tom, before we get started, I have a problem.
Okay.
It's a banana problem. That
banana is a problem. Janae, it looks like you got that out of your freezer and you're preparing to make a banana bread.
Definitely, it's going to be a future banana bread. That's what frozen ground bananas are for, right?
It really is. It really is. You do not want a yellow banana for banana bread.
Yeah. So I realize that typically we talk about cybersecurity, all the things. Why are we talking about bananas?
Well, we're going to be talking about a concept that I've been pushing recently called the banana problem. And the banana problem...
I don't think it's this banana problem.
Actually, it does have to do with the death of bananas and how it relates to technology and cybersecurity.
Awesome. Well, this sounds like a hatchism if I ever heard one. So, Tom, let's...
Your collection of hatchisms.
I enjoy hatchisms a great deal.
Oh, goodness.
Awesome. Well, I'm excited to hear about the banana problem. I hope you're excited to hear about the banana problem. And when you are done, and if you want to talk about it more with us, our staff is in the booth ready to chat with you. And meanwhile, Tom, I can't wait to hear about the banana problem.
All right, here goes. So I've been talking about this problem internally at SaltStack and with engineers for a while, just kind of as a way of expressing this specific thing that seems to pop up repeatedly in technology. And the other day, I was with my good friend Chunga, also in marketing. We do a podcast called The Hacks. And so the Hacks podcast, you can get it on Spotify or wherever fine podcasts are distributed. I don't know, because I don't use Spotify. But so we're trying to think of something to do for one of the podcasts and something to talk about. And so I say to Chunga jokingly, just because, as Janae said, I have what everybody keeps calling hatchisms, right? Little sayings, silly little things. And now that I'm talking about it, I can't remember any of them. Generally, they have to do with military history. But I said to Chunga, why don't we do one on the banana problem? And he says, what on earth is the banana problem? And so I begin to explain, and he says, oh, that'd be great. We should do a podcast on the banana problem. All of a sudden, something that I would just casually say as an internal reference became a marketing thing and something that we're beginning to talk about. So, without further ado, let's talk about the banana problem. So back in the 50s, there was a different kind of banana. Many people don't seem to be aware of this. It was called the Big Mike banana. It was a better banana. It tasted better. It had thick skin, so it was very good for being shipped. A very important value for fruit, especially fruit which is sold heavily in moderate climate areas and grown in tropical areas. It was easier to control its ripening cycle. And it tasted better, apparently. I've never had it. So, the problem happened. Disease entered the Big Mike banana. The disease was called Panama Disease. And Panama Disease struck the banana crop hard and fast. And the reason for this is that all of these bananas were basically genetically identical. And we do this a lot with our crops. We make a specific strain of wheat, and then we just grow it everywhere. Nature combats disease with genetic diversity, which is why The coronavirus doesn't just kill everybody, which is why the Black Death, even though it was so successful, still wasn't able to kill everybody, because we have a significant amount of genetic diversity. But when you manufacture things for mass production, you don't want genetic diversity. You want consistency. We've known that since Emperor Qin made consistent crossbows in 220 BC. Consistency improves production, improves our ability to deliver, and so it's important. But Panama disease struck the banana crop. We fought hard to keep our Big Mike bananas, but eventually they just became no longer economically viable. I mean, they're still out there. They're not extinct. If somebody finds a Big Mike banana and they can show me where to buy one locally, I'm all ears. I got to try one. So they're still out there. They cost a little bit more money. But because of this disease, in 1965, the growers of the bananas all agreed this is no longer economically viable. We have to come up with a new banana. And so they researched many bananas to replace the Big Mike banana. And that's where we got the banana that we have now, the Cavendish banana. But the world lost what everybody at the time seemed to agree was a better banana. So why did the world lose a better banana? And what on earth does this silly story about bananas have to do with BlackHat? And what on earth does it have to do with technology at all? We must make and distribute consistent, identical technology. This is how this works. It's all about the predictability of what it is that we are continuously delivering. It's all about being able to consistently deploy the same stuff over and over and over and over again. So to pull this off, we create consistent software. We create consistent environments. And I'm not at all going to say that we shouldn't do that. Otherwise, we wouldn't have solid, predictable, ongoing deployments. But we do need to recognize that there are inherent problems in that consistency, and especially in cybersecurity. And those problems evolve from the fact that ubiquitousness of technology creates unique challenges that we need to address, and unique challenges that also need to be repaired and addressed in a ubiquitous way. So a new disease very recently has begun to threaten the Cavendish banana crop, but it's being fought in a much better way than we fought against the Big Mike issues with Panama disease. In this case, the response was fast, and despite the fact that we have lost ground for bananas, new genetic diversity has been introduced into banana crops. New defenses have been introduced into banana crops. And most importantly, was that rapid response. When a problem is larger and more ubiquitous, it becomes more dangerous. If we look back to major security holes in the OpenSSL library, as an example, because of the ubiquitous nature of the OpenSSL library, it hits the front page of the news. It's there because of the banana problem. We have an increasing number of technology platforms that have that scale of distribution, but not that scale of awareness. And so when we run into situations where we have that scale of distribution and not that scale of awareness, we still need to be able to address those problems quickly. And let me tie into I'm starting to think that I'm just hungry. Let me tie into talking about pie. It's all about not what percentage of the pie we're dealing with, but the size of the pie. It's very common that we'll come back and we'll look at technology and say, well, I feel like this has a smaller percentage of the pie. This problem or this type of technology, it's just a wedge off to the side, right? It's the size of a piece of pie that you tell yourself that you should eat, not the pie that you do eat. So the problem there is that the size of the pie continues to grow. I'm astonished at areas of security and infrastructure and just general awareness that are growing at a rapid pace. But because they're a small percentage of the pie, we don't look at them in the same way. We don't worry about them in the same way. So what I'm driving at is that there are multiple factors which are adding to the banana problem moving forward. And then there's another expression of the banana problem. And that is the ubiquitousness of consistent technology inside of a singular infrastructure. And if there are specific gateways which give larger ubiquitous access to an infrastructure. We need to be aware of what our liabilities are, so that when a problem surfaces, we are able to calibrate the importance of that problem, not only based on its CVSS score, but more importantly, based on that problem's ubiquitousness inside of our own infrastructure. And ubiquitousness shows up in different ways. If we have a web server and we've deployed consistent certificates that now there is a problem in that certificate deployment, then those web servers are now affected. And we need to understand the chain of these problems. And if we do understand the chain of the problems and the level and scope of the problems in our infrastructure, then we can combine that with the proper automation techniques to give them rapid responses. Because if we had not responded quickly and effectively to the modern emergence of the banana problem with the Cavendish banana, we would potentially have to be eating plantains. I mean, plantains are good and all, but I want my Cavendish bananas. I don't want to lose all my bananas. Similarly, we're running into that same problem in infrastructure. If we're not able to respond quickly, especially to more ubiquitous problems that aren't necessarily headline problems, because those are routinely the ones that get hit. If we're not able to respond quickly, rapidly and effectively to fix these issues, then Panama Disease will win, and we will be breached, and we will lose critical information and critical data. And so we need to come back and recognize rapid response and understanding of ubiquitousness as an internal liability, the exposure and tracking of things that are ubiquitous, and how those link to the other problems that we have. Because if we do those things, then one of the big benefits that we have, one of the huge benefits that we have, is that we will be able to continue eating bananas for a very long time. We might even be able, as I would hope, I don't think we'll ever put this out, it would be really cool, to resurrect the Big Mike banana and have a better banana than what we have now. But we can do that if we have more ubiquitousness, and we're able to manage that ubiquitousness in a smart way. And then we're able to do it with automation that is able to express all of those needs and bring that information together in a way which helps us combat the banana. Now, we've got one more presentation, and then I must admit, I'm taking a nap. It's been a long couple of days. But a conference always is, even when it's virtual. The last presentation is one that I'm excited about. I'm going to be talking about some very persistent cybersecurity holes. I made a marketing faux pas and saved one of my best ones for last. So stick around, and we'll give you one more talk about how to avoid and be aware of and understand the characteristics of software that never seems to get patched. Until then, make sure that if you have any questions for us, to contact folks inside of the booth, and enjoy the rest of the day. Thanks.